Today is July 26th. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClaibsOnline.com, brought to you by Royal Banks of Missouri and Mugginass St. Louis Acura. I am Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey. Rammer off day yesterday, early game on Wednesday. So this is the first time that you and I have had a chance to talk since Tuesday. But the Cardinals did what nobody else has been able to do, and that is beat Paul Skeens back on Tuesday, but still dropping 2 out of 3 to the Pirates. Split the road trip to start the second half of the year. And now they sit a half game back of the wild card, I believe, at last look.
Got to win games. The standings will take care of themselves, but you've got to be more consistent. We've believed for a while, we've agreed for a while that the Cardinals need a big-time starter. We've seen some of the names, and a bunch of the names I've really liked. Some not so much, but some of the names that have been associated with the Cardinals have been very good. And can they get a bat? And I'm not sure what I would do if I was in their spot. Can they get another bat, or do they say our 2 veteran corner infield hitters have got to come through for us? That's why we brought them here. That's why they're getting paid, and we believe they can play great for 2 months.
You kind of opened up a whole new topic that I didn't know if we were going to get into or not today. I knew we were going to talk some trade deals, and I guess we'll get to previewing the Nationals series this weekend, but that all seems to kind of take a back seat right now to the Cardinals' needs at the trade deadline coming up. And when you look at what they need after the first 6 games, I'm leaning more and more to kind of setting aside, you know what, let's go with what we have at starting pitcher if we are ranking needs right now. And I think they need a middle of the order bat so bad. They need somebody that can hit 4th, 5th, 6th in that lineup more than they need a starter right now, and then just kind of load up on extra arms in the bullpen from there, because Paul Goldschmidt at this point, they've already dropped him down to 7th. What more can you do with him at this point? And at some point, when you make these deals, does he become a platoon guy in the last 2 months of the season?
Well, that's possible. So I think we've completely reversed positions, you and I, from, say, 2 months ago. I think they have too many internal options that they'll go through offensively. However, if they're entertaining a middle of the order bat, I'm not trying to pick, but do you have some ideas of some guys?
I mean, you and I talked about the whole Vlad Guerrero situation last week.
Not a chance.
And yeah, it doesn't seem like that the Blue Jays are even going to part with him.
Why would they?
Now, I don't know what the asking price is for a guy like Luis Robert out of Chicago, but I do believe that wherever Robert goes, either Fetty or Crochet will go too. I think it'll be a massive deal of getting those 2 guys, which makes perfect sense.
Now I'm on board with you.
Yeah,
now I'm on board with you. That would be a cool deal.
Right, and it fills needs that the Cardinals have, but I also think there are a lot of other teams that would consider themselves top contenders right now, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Yankees, that I think would go after that combo more aggressively than maybe the Cardinals would.
You could be right, but you might not be.
Right.
The Cardinals can do whatever they want. You're going by history.
Yes.
And the way things normally go, which I have great appreciation for. Keep in mind, Luis Robert has all the potential in the world, and I'm a huge fan. But if fans go look up his numbers, you will not be wowed.
No. I think in talking about, the safe move, the move that the Cardinals will historically make, I think you have to start looking at a lower tier of bat for that. And
but you already have lower tier bats. That's
right.
The problem.
And that's where you kind of hope a change of scenery takes place. I mean, that's where you look at maybe a guy like a Kevin Pillar, something like that, to where it's like, all right, I guess we'll bat him 6 and put him in the outfield and see if that works type of deal. And
I
no,
would not.
no, I'm not
I wouldn't
advocating
make a
for
deal
it,
for
but
that. I wouldn't make a deal for that.
no, but that's just kind of what I'm throwing out there as far as names go. And the when you look at some of the options that are out there, the list gets shorter and shorter of teams that you can deal with when you look at teams like, and I don't think the Pirates were ever a viable trade partner to begin with.
Probably not.
The Pirates are right back in the mix. And now when you look at those teams that are in the mix for that wild card position, there's going to be a lot less teams selling at the trade deadline that you have to kind of go after. But let me throw this name at you too. And I know that I just said I don't think the Cardinals should go after an arm. But I did, and we talk about change of scenery. I texted you this yesterday. A name like Nestor Cortez, who the Yankees are apparently ready to move on from. We saw the Cardinals a few years ago trade a starting outfielder for a starting pitcher, and it worked out for the Cardinals that year. Would a name like Nestor Cortez be of interest to you if the Cardinals had to trade a starter for that?
I'd want to do a little more research. I guess it would allow you to keep Liberatore in the bullpen. That's the upside. Mm-hmm. Is it a guy starting the first or second game of a playoff series? I ask you.
I guess it depends on his performance the final 2 months of the season. 3 years ago, yeah, that is a guy that's starting for you game 1 or game 2, but he has fallen off a bit, and I think the Yankees are very quick to move on with guys. I think the Yankees have shown that they're quick to move. They need offense. They need offense in a big way. Rammer, you and I could hit 8th and 9th in that lineup right now that the Yankees are throwing out there. It's not great what they have.
So well, they're in the same situation as the Cardinals. 2 of their veterans are not producing. Now, that's because they're hurt, Stanton and Rizzo. They have 2 guys that are playing off the charts in Soto and Judge, but that's the only 2. And right. You're right. They have a problem.
As far as the internal options that you mentioned with the Cardinals, we're sitting here, Rammer, on the 26th of July. The trade deadline's the 30th. If you want to look at those internal moves, and I haven't seen anything come across the board yet, or even rumors being, whispered about at this point, but he did homer last night. At some point, I mean, do you have to call Jordan Walker up for the weekend and give him a shot and say, this is, what? Hey, before we go out and get a bat, here's your second chance in 2024.
And I think that is one of the moves you could make. And maybe at that point, Goldie doesn't play as much against right-hand hitters. And you try and keep Walker in there every day. Or you go with hot hands and matchups. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
No, there isn't. And when you kind of are starting to move pieces around, Paul Goldschmidt hitting 232 for the month of July. Surprisingly, if you actually go and look up the numbers, Nolan Gorman's hitting 298 in July.
He's picked it up a little bit.
Yeah, he has picked it up. The strikeouts are still there. That's how he's going to make his outs, are by strikeouts, but he has been getting on base.
So whether it's Jordan Walker or another right-handed bat, what I would do then is ostensibly have a Gorman Goldschmidt platoon. That means if it's a right-hander going, Gorman's in the lineup at second, and probably Burleson comes down and play first base, and your right-hand hitter's in the outfield. If it's a left-handed pitcher, then Gorman's out, you move Donovan in, and that's probably how you set up that rotation. That's what I would do under those circumstances.
Yeah, and with that too, Pedro Pages right now 11-game hit streak when he's played in games, which has allowed you to have Wilson Contreras DH a little bit more.
Right, which is good.
Yeah, so there's a lot of options out there for the Cardinals to kind of move around. None of these are going to seismatically shift the World Series odds in their favor. But what you're looking to do is just slightly improve the team to make a run. And I think looking around, you're right there in the mix for the wild card. The Braves just took another blow. On top of that, the Brewers just took a huge blow in losing Christian Yelich indefinitely right now. There is absolutely no timetable on Christian Yelich to return for the Brewers. And that also was putting another team out there that's going to be looking to
for bats.
improve outfield bats. So when you add that into the mix, yeah, the Cardinals, they need to make a move pretty quick and get something done here, I guess, by the weekend instead of waiting until Tuesday when that trade deadline comes up.
Well, I still have my list of pitchers: Eovaldi, Fetty, Crochet, and Anderson from the Angels. Those are all guys that the way they're performing this season slot in as a number 2 right behind Sonny Gray. And if you had, and pick any one of those names, if you went Sonny Gray and Anderson, who's a lefty, that's competitive. I'm not saying you would on paper be winning the pitching matchup of a series, but that on paper shows we're competitive in the first 2 games of a series. Yeah. So if I can get one of those guys, and maybe there's somebody we're not thinking of, and John Mozeliak may find that guy, I'd be very open to it.
Yeah, and then when you look at that too, with the Angels, that's one where maybe you get Pilar thrown in there or another outfielder kind of thrown in there, just a bat to see what works here at this level. And when you look at what the Cardinals have on their bench, at some point I wonder if an injury or you parting of ways comes up with Brandon Crawford and Matt Carpenter, 2 names that we have not seen in the lineup much at all. I don't think Carpenter once, but I don't think we've seen Crawford at all in the second half unless I missed one.
I think he played a game.
Did he? Okay.
I think he played a game at short. But anyway, all right, how about this? Let's make this deal with the Angels. I don't know what we're giving up, but here's what they're offering back. Not Pilar, but Rendon.
How much of his salary are they paying?
Well, these are the things that guys like us and fans sitting back and looking, you don't know about. But there's a right-handed bat who for 2 months could get hot.
And then where do you put Rendon? If he's here and he's healthy, where are you putting him?
He's got a DH. So against left-handed pitchers, you'd have Contreras catch and he would DH.
Yeah.
I don't like it as much as bringing up Jordan Walker, but I'm just saying deals, you got to, you say, I want that guy. They say, no, but we'll give you this guy. Does that break the deal? That's my point of the whole, that's the way these things work.
Yeah. Rendon, but right now he's making $38 million this year, also do $38 million in 25 and 26.
Sure.
That is absolutely untouchable.
It's ridiculous.
Given not only his injury history, but also some of the comments that he has made that show that he's not really in a hurry to get back on the field anytime soon. I think a 120-game season is good for Rendon. I think he misses the COVID year of playing 60 games. I think that's about perfect for what he's willing to put in on a season. So there is no chance that he ends up in St. Louis with the Cardinals. None at all. That's a desperation move that the Yankees would make, and they would still need. And they would still need the Angels to take a significant amount of that salary too, because that is so much money to pay a guy that, judging by his comments, does not really want to play baseball.
It sure sounds like it.
Yeah. Go back.
And so when fans say, let's use Anderson, how come you didn't get Anderson? The Angels said he was available. And then you say, it's almost like a bill going through Congress. Different congressmen add little things onto the back of the bill. You say, oh, here's our bill for a starting pitcher. Yeah, but then you got to take a $38 million part-time player. Oh, well, I'm not going to sign off on that bill. And so it's kind of the same thing.
Rammer, we are going to have a lot of these over the next couple days, I believe, as we do shows here. But here are the trades that we have so far. The Diamondbacks acquire left-handed reliever A.J. Puck from the Miami Marlins. So the Marlins have started to trade away more pieces. Puck
will help Arizona.
Yeah.
He started there, didn't he? Where did he start? Anyway, he'll be good for them.
Randy Arozarena traded from the Rays to the Mariners. Mariners getting much needed help in the outfield. Randy Arozarena gets a fresh start somewhere else.
It's a desperation move, though, and they can't score. You think the Cardinals lineup is bad. You think the Yankees lineup is bad. The Mariners just can't score. They lost their best player to injury, and that's why they're making that deal for Arozarena.
The Red Sox have traded for James Paxton from the Dodgers, who had pretty good numbers for the Dodgers, but the Dodgers decided to go younger with their rotation. Plus, they are getting some arms back.
Yeah.
So they designated him for assignment. The Red Sox picked him up. And then, Rammer, when we started the show, another trade just went through in baseball. Two contenders making a trade with each other. The Orioles and Phillies have made a trade. The Orioles received Sir Anthony Dominguez and Christian Pache. The Phillies receive Austin Hayes. So, yeah.
Wow, that's a good deal for both, I think.
Yeah, so another trade out there. So this isn't Cardinal related, but I'm going to eventually make it Cardinal related. But one rumor that has been floating out there, since I mentioned the Orioles, a possible trade of Jackson Holliday, talking about whether or not the Orioles would move on from him. And one of the landing spots for that is Detroit for Tariq Skubal, who is currently the favorite to probably win American League Cy Young. I don't know why in the world the Tigers would move on from him and not build a team around him being the ace, but that's a rumor that's out there. Jackson Holliday started 2024 as the most highly touted prospect until he became an MLB player and now kind of fell off the face of the earth. But that's an interesting rumor that has been floated out there.
Yeah, I was going to say he's the Orioles version of Jordan Walker, but Walker actually had a rookie year that was pretty good, and Holliday couldn't get it going at the big league level. He's still a marvelous talent, and everybody feels certain he'll have a good career. That would be interesting that the Tigers would want to do that. I agree with you. I would be skeptical.
Yeah. And then if the Tigers are wheeling and dealing, an arm that I think would make sense in St. Louis to get them through the rest of the year is a guy like Andrew Chafin. That's a guy that I wouldn't mind. And again, not going to move the needle, not going to change any odds on it. It's just a left-handed arm that's going to be in your bullpen. A bullpen right now, I think there's a huge question mark around JoJo Romero and what the Cardinals think of him. I wonder if there's something that was caught early on, velocity or something that they have seen with him, or internal issue complaints about health with his arm that maybe they're just kind of pulling back a bit from him and hoping it works its way out.
I think it's got to rely on what Billy Joel once sang. It's a matter of trust.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't go to a guy because you just don't trust him.
Right. And there are a lot of people, Rammer, in the South County area that I think would relate very well to Andrew Chafin if he came into the Cardinal bullpen with that mustache, that mullet, very Roderick-esque. I think folks from maybe the Arnold area would start making their way up to Busch for more games at the end of the season. I'm
going to suggest that that is a compliment you're paying to my people.
I'm just saying.
And so we're going to go with that as a compliment, and we'll move on.
I could have said Arnold. I could have said Jersey County. I could have said, you know what? I could have said a lot of different areas that I feel like would kind of migrate to Busch Stadium. Once,
you only said one.
Yeah. I just added in Jersey County. I hit the Illinois side too. Equal opportunity.
Fair enough. You notice I didn't push back on it.
Busch Light sales would go through the roof at Busch Stadium if they bring in a guy like Andrew Chafin. Hey, we're brought to you each and every day by the folks at Munganess St. Louis Acura and also Royal Banks, who has banks in all the areas we just mentioned as well.
They absolutely do. In St. Louis, on the east side in Jerseyville and Granite, in St. Charles and St. Charles County, and 3 locations in Northeast Missouri. They're all there for you with the best service in the business. That's why we say banking, better service means better banking at Royal Banks, 314-212-1500. Give them a call and get started on that financial journey with Royal Banks.
We didn't mention a whole lot, didn't talk a whole lot of Cardinals Nationals, but that is taking place this weekend. Also tonight, Rammer, they are honoring the 2004 National League Championship team. One of the best teams, that in 2005, some of the best teams to not win a World Series, and also the 1964 World Series team, Rammer, is going to be celebrated tonight, and at the game. 7 players from the 1964 team will be at the game tonight. Ray Washburn, Charlie James, Carl Warwick, and others.
The 64 team is the team that hooked me on baseball and Cardinal baseball forever. That team made it an addiction, and man, I just really, really love that team. And I was so fortunate in 04 to do a handful of games backing up Wayne Hagen in 04. And so got to be embedded with the club a little bit that season. And I'll never forget being around that group. With overall talent, certainly it's the best lineup I believe the Cardinals have ever had. And the pitching was top to bottom, probably about as good top to bottom as many of the teams that I've seen in my lifetime.
Reggie Sanders, Tony Womack, Woody Williams, Jeff Suppan, Jason Marquis, Ray King, Steve Klein, Julian Tavares, Cal Eldred, Marlon Anderson, and Rick Ankiel, and more will be in attendance tonight for the game, along with Tony La Russa, Scott Rowland, Ray Langford, and Jose Oquendo. Those are the Red Jackets that'll be there for the pregame ceremony tonight for everything going on this weekend. Some of the giveaways this weekend: mystery bobblehead from 2004. You get either Jim Edmonds, Matt Morris, or a So Taguchi bobblehead.
Nice.
Those are gonna go. Oh, those are gonna be the most wanted items there. There are gonna be so many people with trash bags full of So Taguchi bobbleheads walking away from Busch Stadium for first pitch tonight.
I agree.
So a fun weekend, and I know live at Lowe's with Claves and Ricky Horton will have Charlie James on with them tonight from the 1964 team. So lots of stuff going on around Busch Stadium this weekend, and then of course, Rammer, on Monday it's Joe Buck and Chip Carey on the TV call for the Monday game against the Rangers. They're going to try that again.
I'm sure that'll be fun.
Yeah, hopefully the rain stays away. All right, that's going to do it for our show today. He is Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. We will talk to you next week right here on Daily Cards Live.
Munganess St. Louis Acura is making room for the 2025 MDX, so that means great deals for you on the 2024 MDX. We have over 100 2024 MDX models in stock, and you get financing as low as 3.9% for up to 60 months. Or you can lease a new MDX for just $559 per month for 36 months. Or get the MDX technology model for just $589 per month for 36 months. Munganess St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.